Hi, everybody. My name is Larry Palevsky. I'm a pediatrician in New York State, and I'm here at the MAPS conference in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And there are a great number of newcomers to the conference who are very interested in taking care of children who have special needs. I had the pleasure of giving a lecture at the conference this week on child development before we lowered the bar. And I don't know if everybody knows, but somehow in December 2023, pediatricians and the CDC decided that child development was no longer the same as it was when I was taught in medical school in the 1980s. And you see, the problem is that over the last 30 to 40 years, there have been a great increase in developmentally delayed children. And the system that we work in decided that we're going to lower the bar. We're going to make more children normal, even though they are now delayed compared to the development that I was taught in medical school and residency. And if anyone really wants to take a look at it, many of the delays that children have are 3, even 6, or even 12 months later from what is really normal development. So just as an example, children are supposed to walk about 12 months, maybe 13 months at most. The CDC now says children should walk at 18 months, and that's normal. And children are supposed to transfer objects from one hand to the other about 6 months. CDC says no, it's normal at 9 months. And children are supposed to creep on their belly, army crawl, about 7 months. The CDC says creeping is not important anymore for developmental milestones. And children are supposed to crawl about 8 or 9 months. And the CDC says, no, crawling is not important for child developmental milestones either. And then it gets really difficult when you start looking at the language development, because in the pediatric textbooks from the 1980s and 90s, what does it say about child development? At about 21 months old, 50% of children should have at least 50 words. Nowadays, the CDC is saying 30 months is when children are supposed to have 50 words. And so what we're seeing is an acceptance of children who are mild to severely developmentally delayed, who are being called normal. But they're not normally developed. They are normally accepted as developed. And I think it behooves us in the medical field to go back to what's old and recreate it as new, because we are missing many children who have motor delays and speech delays, both expressive and receptive delays, and they are getting lost in the system because doctors are now saying, according to the CDC, your child is normal. And mothers and fathers and grandparents are knowing that those milestones that the CDC are saying are normal are not normal. And we need to do better by our kids and not let them slip through the cracks and go back to the real development from when I was taught in medical school. My big question to the audience when I gave this lecture was, did somehow the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics figure out that all of the developmental milestones that we knew 40, 50, and 60 years ago were suddenly wrong? And they figured out that these are the correct milestones? I ask you to really think about it. Thank you.